Section: Introduction. In this section, we delve into the evolution of AI systems, which are becoming more versatile. Previously, we used specialized solutions for various language tasks, but now, large language models can handle multiple tasks using a single set of parameters. Unified systems are emerging across different data types, such as images and text, with models like GPT-4v and Gemini. These systems are based on general-purpose pre-trained models that support a wide range of applications. Our focus is on representational convergence in neural network models. We observe a growing similarity in how data points are represented across different models, architectures, and data types. This convergence is driven by the aim to represent reality, capturing the joint distribution of events in the world that generate observed data. We introduce the concept of Platonic representation, where models aim to align their representations with the underlying reality. As models train on more data and tasks, they converge towards a common representation of reality. This idea is akin to Plato's allegory of the cave, suggesting that models are moving towards a better understanding of the actual world. We examine representations as vector embeddings and define representational alignment based on the similarity structures induced by these embeddings. Kernels, which measure distance, similarity between data points, are used to assess representations. We introduce kernel alignment metrics to quantify the similarity between different representations. Our experiments demonstrate that neural networks are converging towards aligned representations, even across different modalities like images and text. This convergence highlights the trend towards a unified and standardized representation of reality in AI systems. Section Summary. In this section, we delve into the evolving landscape of AI systems, where modern large language models are proficient in various language processing tasks using a single set of weights, and unified systems are emerging across different data modalities. We explore the concept of representational convergence, suggesting that neural network models are increasingly aligning towards a common representation of reality, driven by the need to capture more information about the world. This convergence, termed the Platonic representation, reflects a statistical model of the underlying reality and is akin to the idea of convergent realism in the philosophy of science. Section: Different models, with different architectures and objectives, can have aligned representations. In this section, we explore how different models can share similar representations, even if they have diverse structures and goals. One way to measure this alignment is by looking at the increasing number of systems based on pre-trained foundation models, which are now widely used across various tasks. This trend suggests a level of universality in how these models represent data, although it doesn't guarantee that all foundation models will converge to the same representation. We came across a study that used a technique called model stitching to integrate intermediate representations from two models, F and G, through a learned affine stitching layer H. This process resulted in a new combined model F. If this new model F performs well, it indicates that the original models F and G have compatible representations at a certain layer. The study revealed two key findings. First, vision models trained on different datasets can align well while maintaining good performance. Second, the early layers of convolutional networks are more interchangeable than later layers, suggesting a commonality in the initial stages of representation across various neural network architectures. Further research on model stitching showed that models trained with self-supervised objectives align closely with supervised models, even without explicitly learning a stitching layer. Despite being trained on different data modalities, text models often encode data in similar ways. This was demonstrated through the concept of a kernel K that acts as a bridge between models, enabling effective cross-language communication between encoders and decoders. Moreover, the alignment between models increases with their scale and performance. Larger models tend to exhibit greater alignment with each other, especially on classification tasks like CIFAR-10. Theoretically, models with similar outputs also show similar internal activations, indicating a trend towards increased alignment as models continue to scale up. We expanded on these observations by evaluating the transfer performance of 78 vision models with varying architectures, training objectives, and datasets. Our analysis revealed that models with high transfer performance form a closely clustered set of representations, while weaker models have more variable representations. Overall, the discussion points towards a convergence in representations across different models, suggesting a move towards a unified representation. This alignment is not only observed in the model's performance but also in their internal weights, especially for models with the same architecture. This convergence opens up possibilities for merging separately trained models to leverage the capabilities of all models in the mixture. Furthermore, models trained on different data modalities also show signs of convergence. Studies have shown that linear projections can effectively align vision models with language models, leading to improved performance on tasks like visual question answering and image captioning. This cross-modal alignment extends to various modalities, including auditory and language models, indicating a trend towards learning a modality-agnostic representation of the world. Section Summary. In this section, we explore how different models with various architectures and objectives can converge to aligned representations, as seen in the increasing number of systems built on pre-trained foundation models becoming standard backbones for various tasks. Through techniques like model stitching, it has been observed that models trained on different datasets or modalities can align at certain layers, indicating a level of universality in data representation. This alignment trend extends not only to model outputs but also to model weights, suggesting a potential convergence towards a unified representation across different modalities and architectures as models scale up and improve in performance. Section. Models are increasingly aligning to brains. In this section, we observe that models are increasingly resembling brains. Neural networks also exhibit significant similarities with biological representations in the brain. This similarity may stem from facing similar constraints in tasks and data. Despite using different mediums, silicon transistors versus biological neurons, both brains and machines share the fundamental challenge of efficiently extracting and understanding the underlying structure in various inputs like images, text, and sounds. Tasks such as segmentation, detection, and classification that the human visual system has evolved to excel in are the same tasks we train our neural networks to perform. Some researchers even named their work to reflect the idea that excelling in these tasks indicates alignment with the brain. Moreover, it has been shown that the training data significantly influences this alignment. Studies have demonstrated agreement between how humans perceive visual similarity and how models do, even when models are trained on tasks seemingly unrelated to human perception. The question arises, does alignment predict performance in downstream tasks? If models are moving towards a more accurate representation of reality, we anticipate that alignment should lead to improved performance in subsequent tasks. Figures supporting this hypothesis show enhanced performance in tasks like common sense reasoning and mathematical problem solving as alignment improves. The convergence of representations is also explored. Modern machine learning models are typically trained to minimize empirical risk with implicit and/or explicit regularization. We discuss how each component in this optimization process potentially aids in representational convergence. One aspect is convergence through task generality, where each training data point and objective impose constraints on the model. As data and tasks increase, the set of solutions satisfying these constraints decreases, following the contravariance principle. This principle suggests that solutions to challenging goals are fewer but generalize better. With data scaling, models optimizing empirical risk also enhance population risk and become better at capturing statistical structures of the true data generation process. Furthermore, representation learning objectives often optimize for multitask solving, leading to a smaller and higher quality solution space. Larger models, under sufficient data and improved optimization, are more effective at approximating the globally optimal representation for standard learning objectives. They tend to converge towards this optimum, even if they have different architectures. Larger models are more likely to converge to a shared representation than smaller models. Section Summary. In this section, we explore how models are increasingly aligning with the brain, with neural networks showing similarities in how they process data compared to biological systems. The convergence between brains and machines is driven by the shared goal of efficiently extracting and understanding underlying structures in various types of data. As models align more closely with reality, we expect improved performance on downstream tasks, supported by evidence showing enhanced performance on reasoning and problem-solving tasks as alignment improves. Section: Convergence via bias, simplicity bias. In this section, we explore how models can converge through simplicity bias. Even if models end up with the same results on training data, they can still have different internal representations. For instance, a model with 1 million parameters detecting a dog may use a different representation than a model with 1 billion parameters. The simplicity bias, like regularization techniques such as weight decay and dropout, can push models towards simpler solutions that fit the data well. We believe that as models become more complex due to task demands and data volume, they tend to converge. Our main idea is that this convergence leads us to a representation that mirrors the underlying reality generating our observations. This representation, according to the multitask scaling hypothesis, should be useful for various tasks grounded in reality and might be relatively simple, in line with the idea that nature's laws are simple. We introduce an idealized world where events are sampled from an unknown distribution, and observations are deterministic mappings of these events to measurement spaces like pixels or words. Understanding the distribution of events can help in making predictions based on the observations. We show that certain learners can converge to a representation of this distribution. By considering contrastive learners that model co-occurring observations, we can define the co-occurrence probability of different observations. These learners aim to classify pairs of observations as positive or negative by learning a representation that approximates the log odds ratio. Under certain conditions, the choice of representation can exactly capture the statistics of the distribution of events. In our idealized world, where observations are bijective and preserve probabilities, we observe convergence to the same statistical representation across different observation modalities. This suggests that representation learning algorithms may focus on finding embeddings where similarity corresponds to pointwise mutual information. This concept aligns with previous works that have used pointwise mutual information for similarity measures in vision and language tasks. Section Summary. In this section, we explore the concept of convergence through simplicity bias, suggesting that even billion-parameter models can converge to simpler solutions due to inherent simplicity bias in deep learning models. The endpoint of this convergence is hypothesized to be a representation of the underlying reality that generates observations, which is expected to be useful across various tasks and potentially simple, aligning with the simplicity bias hypothesis. This representation is formalized as a statistical model of the underlying reality, which certain contrastive learners converge to by finding embeddings where similarity equals pointwise mutual information, PMI. Section: A study in color. In this section, we conducted a case study to confirm that convergence occurs on real data. We found that the color distances in learned language representations, trained to predict CO occurrences in text, closely match human perception of these distances. This similarity increases as models become larger and better at modeling text CO occurrences. Additionally, we explored representations of color based on CO occurrences in images using KPMI. Surprisingly, learning CO occurrence statistics in either domain results in similar perceptual representations. Our simple model captures essential aspects of complex real-world systems and paves the way for understanding the unified model that models are converging to, proficient across various domains and modalities. We also discuss some limitations in scaling, efficiency, and the importance of satisfying general requirements in modeling. Furthermore, we highlight the significance of sharing training data across modalities to improve representation learning. The ease of translation and adaptation across modalities is crucial, as aligned representations facilitate transitioning between different domains. Scaling may help reduce hallucinations and biases in large language models. Different modalities may contain unique information, and a nuanced approach is needed to handle non-bijective observations and abstract concepts. Overall, our study suggests that models converge to similar representations when input signals are high information and models have high capacity. Section Summary. In this section, we conducted a case study to demonstrate that color distances in learned language representations, trained to predict CO occurrences in text, closely resemble human perception of these distances. We observed that as models scale larger and improve at modeling text CO occurrences, the similarity in color representations increases. Our findings suggest that scaling can lead to reduced hallucinations and biases in large language models, and that different modalities can converge to a common representation when input signals are high information and models have high capacity. Section. Not all representations are presently converging. In this section, we have discussed how not all representations are currently converging. Our focus has been on vision and language modalities, with the expectation that other modalities will eventually follow similar patterns. However, we have not observed the same level of convergence across all domains yet. For instance, in robotics, there is no standardized method for representing world states as there is for images and text, partly due to the limitations of expensive and slow hardware, leading to challenges in acquiring diverse training data. Furthermore, sociological biases play a role in shaping AI model development. Researcher biases and community preferences tend to steer the direction of model design towards mimicking human reasoning, potentially limiting the exploration of other forms of intelligence. The success of AI models can also be influenced by the compatibility of their design with available computational resources, contributing to convergent trends. It is important to note that special-purpose intelligences designed for specific tasks may not converge. Different intelligent systems optimized for distinct functions may not share much in common. While a general representation of reality may be beneficial for various tasks, specialized tasks may require unique and efficient representations that deviate from reality, especially as scaling encounters resource limitations. We have primarily used the mutual nearest neighbor alignment measure in our experiments, but there are ongoing debates about the effectiveness of various alignment metrics. Our results have shown that different models can reach similar but not identical representations, raising questions about the strength of alignment. We leave it open whether a score of 0.16, as observed in our experiments, indicates strong alignment with minor discrepancies or poor alignment with significant differences yet to be explained. Lastly, we express our gratitude to those who shared data for our experiments and provided valuable feedback. Our work has been supported by various fellowships and grants, enabling us to delve into the complexities of alignment in AI models.